Hey, what's up guys? It's TechSummer talking to you here, and I've been using the iPhone 15 Pro Max for the last 48 hours. So, in today's video, I want to tell you about my experience, what's good, what was bad. But before we do that, the iPhone 15 Pro Max has been the best phone in terms of experience for the first 48 hours ever that I've ever used. This has been the best 48 hours with the phone that I can remember. This is so incredible. The iPhone 15 Pro Max doesn't seem like a huge jump, but trust me, it is. So if you enjoyed this video, do not forget to drop a like down below, subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys for watching. Roll the intro. Attention, this is not a full review. This is just my first 48-hour experience. So I will have a full review later on this week. If you are interested in that, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. So the iPhone 15 Pro Max, I unboxed it this Friday, and since then have been using this phone. Oh my god, this is incredible. This is the white titanium iPhone 15 Pro Max, 256 gigabytes of storage. Cost me around $1,200, $1,199. This phone is the base model iPhone 15 Pro Max. But the combination of features and upgrades that Apple gave this phone, even the external design, the new USBC port, the new cameras, everything made this phone a different experience for the first 48 hours. I've used the iPhone 13 Pro Max when it launched. I've used the iPhone 14 Pro Max when it was launched. The iPhone 12 Pro Max, the iPhone XS, the iPhone 11 Pro Max, every single phone since I think the iPhone 6s, since they launched. And I've never felt this with a new iPhone. It's different. Not just because the design is different, but it's better. Not because it's lighter and smaller. Not because the best port ever, USB-C, and all the accessory things that unlocks. And of course, not because of the best cameras ever on the iPhone. It isn't. It's the combination of all of these features that made the iPhone 15 Pro Max look like the iPhone 14 Pro Max, but feel like a completely different phone. So let's first talk about one of the biggest changes in my opinion, and that's the design and feel of the iPhone 15 Pro Max. So the iPhone 15 Pro Max doesn't have a complete new design. No, it has the same iPhone 13 Pro Max, 12 Pro Max, 14 Pro Max design, but with some slight changes. And this slight word should be under gasps because even though it's really small, it's really impactful because the iPhone 15 Pro Max has now these curved edges. Apple likes to call it contoured edges. The edges are not completely curved like the iPhone XS and X were, and they are not completely flat like the iPhone 14 Pro Max was. No, it now has these flat titanium sides. This is cool. They are still flat like the iPhone 13 Pro Max was and the iPhone 14 Pro Max was. But now, trust me, now this is big because the edges are contoured. And like Apple likes to say, it makes the iPhone way more comfortable to hold in the hand. This is incredible, and it's really tough to show you or explain you in the video. You have to hold it by yourself, have to go into the Apple store and try it out because it's big. It's really big. It makes the experience of holding the iPhone 14 Pro Max totally different. Makes it more premium, better feeling. Imagine if the iPad Pro, the best thing that I can explain it to you is that imagine if the iPad Pro was smaller and you could grab it with one hand like this. This is the way that you grab your iPhone. And when you do so with the older iPhone 14 Pro Max, it was way sharper. Like it would feel the edges cutting into your hand. Right now, with this new design, these new edges, it doesn't. And it's big. It's extremely big and it's super comfortable. So I think most of you that will hold up this iPhone now for the first time will think that this design is a complete game changer, as I do. Also, as I have mentioned, the iPhone now 15 Pro Max and 15 Pro, they feature titanium. Titanium is one of those changes that you first heard and thought, new material, whatever. But no, it's really different. Like the iPhone 14 Pro Max was premium. The iPhone 14 Pro Max sides were stainless steel. They were shiny, they were premium feeling, but they were really heavy. And they would also catch tons of fingerprints. Now, the iPhone 15 Pro Max features titanium, and titanium gives the iPhone 15 Pro Max a different feel on the hand. Not just because titanium is a different material, but because it's stronger and way lighter. The word being lighter. The iPhone 15 Pro Max is way lighter than the iPhone 14 Pro Max. Not just because of the titanium, of course. Apple used titanium on the side frame, but it used aluminum on the back plate. So now, with the combination of aluminum plus titanium, the iPhone 15 Pro Max feels way lighter. The weight distribution on the iPhone 15 Pro Max is totally different than the iPhone 14 Pro Max. And so now when you hold it, you feel the difference. Like this is way lighter and way easier to hold. I do believe that this phone is even lighter than the iPhone 11 Pro Max, and that's saying a lot. because iPhones have been getting very, very heavy for a long time. I think that this phone is the perfect weight right now. Like, it's big, it's tall, but trust me, it's way lighter and makes the phone way more bearable to hold. I don't feel that this iPhone is too bulky right now, even though it's a bit thicker, but also a bit smaller than the iPhone 14 Pro Max. But I do believe that now is the perfect weight distribution, the perfect size. This iPhone is really, really good. And titanium really made a difference. One thing that I gotta say about titanium that tons of people have been talking about the drop test durability, is that when you tend to, I would say, like flex your phone, do not bend your phone. I'm just saying this because titanium is really, really, really tough and has a very high tensile durability. So if you try to actually flex the iPhone, titanium won't flex. They won't. And what will happen is the glass will. And because titanium doesn't flex, but glass does, then the glass will break. This is just mechanics. And trust me, it's not a good idea. Do not try to fold your iPhone 15 Pro Max. For that, you have the Samsung Z Fold, the Z Flip. Buy a folding phone if you want to. Do not bend. Trust me, do not try to bend your iPhone 15 Pro Max with tons of force. If you have the 15 Pro, I think that would be okay because the durability tests from especially Jerry Greek, everything have been showing that that iPhone is really durable and doesn't flex. While the 15 Pro Max, because of the extra size, it had some troubles. Do not try it at home, trust me. And finally, the different finishes on the iPhone 15 Pro Max with titanium are very different this year. You have this white iPhone 15 Pro Max, which is I think the less beautiful color. I like it, it's not bad. You have the blue one, which I think is cool also. You have the black, always cool, the matte black color, but my favorite one is the natural titanium color. Just like my Apple Watch, now my iPhone 15 Pro Max will be this color. I will unbox it tomorrow, I'm super excited. As for the white iPhone 15 Pro Max, I like it. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this color. Then there's also big changes happening on the screen. The panel is the same ProMotion 120Hz display. But now we have way less bezels. Like the bezels now are way thinner. And they were one of the biggest changes that I noticed when I actually hold up for the first time the iPhone 15 Pro Max, the display bezels. Those are way thinner and in my opinion they look much, much better. As for the panel, it's still 2000 nits peak brightness, 1600 nits of sustained brightness, ProMotion 120Hz capable, still has the always on display, the non-always on display. It's really good, it's high contrast ratio, it's really, really amazing. This is in my opinion one of the best displays out there. Apple really knows how to make displays. Although Samsung manufactures it, Apple has the one that actually designed it. So I think that this display is really good, you won't have any trouble with it. The ProMotion is really, really the best feature of the iPhone 15 Pro Max and one of them that you actually notice in my opinion. So if you like ProMotion, the iPhone 15 Pro Max and Pro model are the only choice. The iPhone 15s still do not feature ProMotion. That's a bummer, but I think most people won't notice it. I do, and you techie guys might also do, but most consumers won't. So I do understand why Apple actually does it. But again, the iPhone 15 Pro Max features ProMotion, in my opinion, is one of the best features on this display. Let's now address the elephant on the room. USBC is now present on the iPhone 15s. And now the iPhone 15 Pro Max has USBC 3.0 speeds. And what is my experience for the first 2 days? Well, for the first 2 days has been quite easy. I have not noticed that difference. Only one time when I went to charge this phone, I used the lightning cable that was around on my house. And I forgot. I totally forgot. I had that moment when you forgot that you don't have lightning anymore. And I tried to plug it in and it didn't. And I was like, why? Wait a second. I do have USB-C. Oh my God, I have to pick up a USB-C cable. I had that moment, guys. Everyone will have it. Even nerd guys like us will forget that now we have USB-C. But now we do. I'm super happy. USB-C enables so many things. I've not tried much. I've tried to charge my Apple Watch. It works. I've tried to charge other iPhones. It also works. And I tried to charge other AirPods. Again, it works. But I don't have the AirPods USB-C case. If you have a USB-C to Lightning, I don't know if it will work, but I think it does. It does. As you can see here, it does. But it's really, really good. And I think that's one of the best features of USB-C. Apple does not enable faster charging with USB-C. So if you have the iPhone 15s, those will be the only difference. If you have the Pro models, well, more things are coming. For example, you can transfer footage from your iPhone way faster. Especially ProRes footage is one of the biggest deals now. You can transfer it in seconds, while before it would take like 30 minutes, which is ridiculous. And it also can now record 4K, 60 frames per second, 30 frames per second, ProRes footage directly to an external SSD for much, much better actually storage management and transferring footage to your computer. I think this is a really, really cool deal, and I think it will manage really well with more pro features to the camera side. So let's talk about the cameras, but before we do that, I want to talk about battery life, because I think that battery life on the iPhone 15s has been very, very underrated. I've used this phone for the last 2 days, and I got always, every single day, a full day of charge. While with the iPhone 14 Pro Max, by the end of this year, with the use of the iPhone, I will reach the end of the day with like 5%, maybe sometimes it would die. And I'm a very, very high power user. I don't know. I think that the iPhone 15 Pro Max is better than the iPhone 14 Pro Max, better than the iPhone 13 Pro Max. But from other battery comparisons, especially for Mr. Who's the Boss, we saw that the iPhone 15 Plus was the best battery performance. So maybe if you want the best battery ever on an iPhone, go for the Plus model. But I do believe that the iPhone 15 Pro Max has an incredible battery. I don't have any trouble with it. Lasts me always during the day, no trouble that I will end up the day with like 30%. So that's really, really good battery performance. I don't need more. Thank you, Apple. The battery issue is fixed. And the A17, I don't feel like it's more efficient, but I do feel like it's way faster. The A17 Pro for the last like 2 days, 40 hours, I gotta say that was really fast. I tried playing games, I did other stuff, and it really, really performs. Like this chip is fast. The games don't slow down. The phone doesn't get that hot. So that's a good thing, because before the iPhones would get really hot when playing games, and that would be a trouble because the display would have to dim down and the performance would dim down, the phone would get hot, it would be uncomfortable, and you would sweat from your hands. Now, with the new A17 Pro chip, the differences are better gaming performance, AAA gaming supports, and especially no trouble with overheating. So that's a pretty big deal, in my opinion. Like I told you, let's now talk about the cameras. For the first 48 hours, I don't have much to talk about the cameras. Like I've used the cameras much, but I don't have quite of an idea of the whole picture. You know what I mean? I've taken a lot of photos, but yeah, what I gotta say, it's better than the iPhone 14 Pro Max. HDR and especially the 5x zoom have been the first big impact that I've noticed. The 5x zoom is a really good camera. It's really stable. When you zoom in, you don't lose quality. The camera like completely stables in. It's like it has optical stabilization. It's crazy. And the HDR is much better. I've tried also some low light performance, and I was impressed, but not as impressed like when the first time I tried the iPhone 11 Pro Max. It's better, but it's some incremental improvements. As for the portrait photography automatic one, that's cool. That's really cool. Automatic portrait, it's probably one of the best features on the iPhone 15s. I've tried it out. It's amazing that you can add background blur after the fact that you've taken the photo. You can change the focus, where it is, which subject do you want to focus on. So that feature is really underrated, and I think lots of people will use it. But the iPhone 15 Pro Max has also some proprietary features. Like, for example, it can record on log footage, can record ProRes footage, can take ProRes photos, so Pro RAW photos. The iPhone 15 Pro Max has a Pro camera, while the iPhone 15s don't. And from my experience with this Pro camera, the iPhone 15 Pro Max video is now much more improved, especially with the log video. That's going to be a big game changer. As, of course, for the video side, is much better in terms of HDR. It's not as worse as the iPhone 14 Pro Max with that light going into your video. That iPhone had lots of trouble. Like if you try to film any type of light, source of light, it will have this weird like flare on your lens. Apple says that they put a new coating on the lens that should fix this. It's still present, but you can't do anything about that. But I think it's better now. And of course, with the photography, that issue should also be 50% fixed. Of course, this phone can now also take 24 megapixel shots, while the iPhone 14 Pro Max had only the 12 megapixel. It still can take 48 megapixel shots. The sensor, I think it's better calibrated and better optimized with the new algorithms. And the ultra-wide camera is a bit better, but not that much. The biggest jump now, I feel like, and the biggest impact that it had in the first 48 hours has been obviously the log footage, the video footage that is much better, and the 5x telephoto, and of course, the automatic portrait mode. The new 24 megapixel shot, this will change I think everything in the industry in terms of camera sites, but most people won't notice it right away. If I explain to you guys and the techie guys, the nerds, they will know and they will notice right away when they look to a picture, but I think in the next like 6 months, everything is going to change. This is going to be one of the biggest features on the iPhone 15 Pro Max camera and 15 Pro and 15, the 24 megapixel shot. It's a 2x jump in resolution in every single photo without taking as much space, because Apple has invented the new codec. It's the HEIF codec with the 24 megapixel shot that is twice the resolution, but I think only 1.5 times the size. I'm super excited for the future of Apple's cameras. This one is even better, and I cannot wait to full review, to a full camera comparison with the iPhone 14 Pro Max, and of course with my mirrorless camera. So if you want that, drop a like down below and tell me in the comments down below if you want a comparison between my Sony mirrorless camera and the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Of course, the camera was really good. It impressed me. In my opinion, the best first 48 hours with a phone in general, a phone camera in general. So if you like good cameras, you want the best cameras on a phone, go for the iPhone 14 Pro Max. If you do really care about video, log video, pro raw photos, the iPhone 15 Pro Max is really for you. And if you want to zoom in really further, the only option is the iPhone 15 Pro Max with the 5x telephoto. So yeah, the new design, titanium, USBC, new cameras, new bezels make the iPhone 15 Pro Max look like a small upgrade, because again, the design is the same, the colors are around the same, the camera's layout haven't changed, display and dynamic island is the same, but again, the insides of this phone are completely changed. Titanium changed everything, the weight distribution, the feel on the hand. You have to use this phone to really understand how big of a change it is. So I'm really happy with the first 48 hours with the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Let me know in the comments below if you have bought one. Tomorrow I will get my natural titanium, my own phone. This one is just a review unit, but let me know in the comments below which one do you prefer: black titanium, blue titanium, white titanium, or natural titanium. Thank you guys for watching. This has been Tech Smart talking to you here. Bye bye.